It's October 17th. It is a gorgeous autumn day in the Nutmeg State. I'm so happy to be living here. Trees are close to peak. This weekend should be perfect. I wanted to talk today about the environment. How appropriate. This is a take that you almost never hear from Democrats or Republicans. This comes more from the libertarians. And I am a small L libertarian, and as a lot of you know, I'd like to bring a lot of liberty-minded values into the Democrat Party that's largely forgotten them. They don't remember that Jefferson was the founder of the Democrat Party, but he was a minimalist in terms of use of government. Even JFK and MLK would probably not be statist Democrats today. If they still call themselves Democrats, they'd be very, very conservative. I think they might call themselves libertarians. What libertarians want to do is to make sure you have a property right in the environment. Who gives you that right? Not the government, God. Every man and woman has a right to the water that they want to drink, or the water that they want to use for farming, and the air that we breathe. We want to assure that that right is recognized and can be enforced. I, as a governor, would like to have as many different ways that individuals can enforce against a big polluter their right to collect damages, their right to have that pollution mitigated or stopped. The problem is, court systems are not the best way for individuals to bring suit. And especially with the environment, it is very hard to determine. There's a lot of science behind what is the real cause of this pollution, how damaging really is it. And that's why this is one of the few areas that I think government should be involved. You know I'm a minimalist. I want courts and defense to be the primaries of government, but environmental protection and protecting the citizens against depredations is a good use of government for now. I think more and more we will be able to reduce that use too. But until citizens can enforce their property rights on their own, I do believe that agencies deserve to be entrusted to look out for them. So, here's where I'm very different from the Democrat Party leaders. They right now trust a very big bureaucracy called the EPA, and at the state level, DEP. DEP is not so bad. EPA has been run by, at times, Marxists, and they play to the Marxist goal of government control wherever possible, and they get it. And in other states, fortunately this hasn't afflicted Connecticut terribly, they have taken property. They have restricted the use of property while things are pending. They haven't even found fault yet. And the fault that they sometimes find is so minuscule. The priorities that they make prioritize a tiny species that's not going extinct, but it just doesn't have the best of habitats right now, at the expense of humans who have mouths to feed, jobs to have, without hurting other humans and without ending a species. They should be able to carry out their activities. The environmentalist movement has largely been taken over by Marxists. If the environmentalist movement were pure, I might be a Green Party member. And that's how that party was founded. But they have been taken over by the big statists because the environment is a great tool to use. Everyone wants to protect the environment. So it's hard to stand up to bureaucrats and agencies that gain lots of power in the name of the environment, and who is this one rancher that might be standing up for property rights? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's what our founders did. Stood up for property rights. And thus, Fifth Amendment is something that ought to be restored. We are the home of the worst case of our lifetimes, unless you've lived since 1942, where Korematsu might have been worse. Kilo versus New London. A taking of property in the name of an environmental and a developmental guise. This was unfortunately in a 5-4 decision in 2005 allowed to stand. It should never have happened. Property is why, or the protection of property is why our framers set up a constitution. Protecting property is protecting all of society. If that goes, what's next? You have in this candidate a desirous of property rights because they are essential to human rights. I hope you will tell your friends. Thanks for listening.